warm welcome and thank you for your participation in this event. Well, this masterclass is a part of our strategy research plan and a key component of our SPARE workshop series tools for the research and training. Our purpose is to provide tools that offer knowledge generation. Through this series, we offer SPARE workshop designed to improve the skills of our teachers, of our students, and our early careers research. But today it's a pleasure for us and invite you to ask questions in Spanish, in English. We are going to learn a lot of things about that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the introduction. I think you did an amazing job. And yeah, I think we're happy enough to jump into the presentation. For everyone who's joining, this webinar is being recorded. And throughout the session, if you have questions whilst we're doing the presentation, feel free to put your questions into the Q&A section. And yeah, without further ado, let's get started.
Thank you very much, dear Jenny and Ryan. So let's start with our today's presentation, which is about how to implement AI tools for improving or for increased productivity in our research and academic processes. I am really honored to share the floor or this space and webinar with Ayus Garg and Ryan McCarroll, who are the founder and co-founder of AnswerThis, which is the tool that we will be presenting today, and all the features that this tool has offering to us in order to increase the quality and the productivity of our research ideas and processes. So please, Ryan, can you share the presentation?
Okay, perfect.
Perfect, thank you very much. So let's talk about what are one of the best AI tools for researchers. In this case, AnswerThis. Our outline for today, we will, in the first stage of this presentation, we want to identify research gaps, which is the first feature that offered to us this AI tool. In the second stage, we will talk about the main characteristics that offer this tool regarding paper searching. And in the third place, we will talk about how these tools can create for very insightful citation maps. And also, then we will talk about how this tool is useful to develop thesis statement, then outlines, and also we will talk about the literature review and how to develop very high quality literature reviews, and also how to use this important tool in data extraction process, also from the papers and documents that we can update in this AI tool. Also, it is useful for AI editing before of sending our papers for publication, as we were talking yesterday in the conference of Professor Jose. This tool can be useful as a peer review. You can upload your research paper and reviewing it in order to have some very beautiful feedbacks, and we will finish this presentation with the conclusions and some recommendations. Okay, first, one of the most challenges things that researchers face nowadays or every day since the beginning of the science is how to fulfill or how to find these very beautiful ideas in order to fulfill the research gaps. Manually, it is really hard, almost impossible, to develop or try to find research gaps because there are too many articles, papers, books, thousands of papers of books that even in another languages, and it is really hard to know where are the fields where we can create innovations and so on. So this tool offers us a possibility to reduce the time and increase the possibility to find these ideas that fulfill these gaps in the different fields of the science. AnswerThis highlights not only methods by topics, by problems regarding with different fields of the science, as I mentioned before, and it will find this information into more than more than millions of papers that they have access nowadays, and those papers you have the guarantee that those papers are published mainly in indexed journals. Those papers are high impact, are papers published in high impact journals. You can also ask directly to the AI to extract information, like to create tables with very insightful information in order to find these research gaps in different fields, and it still requires, but even that the long language models that we are using in these very useful tools, there is the need of the human part. Without the human criteria to confirm, to analyze from a critical point of view the result of these models, it will be really hard to find the truth behind of our research problems or research questions. So we usually use like search engines like Scopus, like Redalyc, like Web of Science to find our papers, even Google Scholars. But sometimes find papers, it is really hard to find in these databases or in this kind of academic repositories. By using AnswerThis, you can find very important information, like develop literature reviews, summarizing papers more quick, very faster. So when we used to develop this paper searching manually, it was really hard to find the papers and to organize in folders. But nowadays, AnswerThis retrieves conceptually relevant papers by using semantic understanding, which is really useful for us in order to summarize the most insightful ideas, objective methods, and results of different kinds of investigation in a sea of thousands of investigations. So this is important to underline, that the information presented in the results when you are using AnswerThis can be verified. So the risk of hallucination is really low. I think almost zero, but because they curate the results very rigorous, and they create very good summaries and drafts. But you need to see and to make a really rigorous assessment of the results obtained by your search or your query. Another important feature is that you can create into the literature reviews, you can create these very insightful citation maps when you can find the most cited papers in different fields and who are the authors who cite these papers, this paper the most, who are the most cited papers, the most important topics, and what are the connection between different fields can be developed by this great feature, such as the citation map. Mapping citations by hand was slow before, and nowadays you can map literature reviews very quick, and including hundreds of papers in those citation maps and literature reviews. So as you can see, AnswerThis generates visual maps that shows who cites whom.
Hmm.
And
Amazing.
now give the floor to Ryan. Please, Ryan.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I think that was excellent explanation of all the different features there. Moving on slightly to thesis statements. Now, traditionally, I'm sure in all your own respective disciplines, there are certain ways to do thesis statements. With AnswerThis, you can get down to a draft and find the papers that are relevant for a thesis statement depending on your research topic. So traditionally, we'd have to note down different understandings that we have from different papers, look at the debates, limitations. Now with AnswerThis, we can use a search and specifically ask it for a thesis statement. Now, of course, AI is meant to help you, not replace you. So it's not going to do the thesis statement perfectly to your exact criteria, but it will give you a good first draft with papers that are great to read into, to get that understanding, to understand the limitations, and to even see what gaps exist in your research area.
Sorry, Ryan. There is some of the attenders that couldn't have access. Do you have, if there is another link to share with them?
Oh,
there is some people that they have access, but they can't see us and hear us.
They can see it, they can listen.
They can't listen. Yes.
They can't hear me?
No. If there is another link or something like that, it will be wonderful.
Not quite sure how.
I don't know how to do.
Yeah, it should be audible. Can you hear me well right now?
I think that each person have to ask to you.
Wait, so someone's asking to.
Yes, they say that they are connected, but they can't see us.
Can see.
Oh.
They can listen.
They may need to reload their Soho. They should be accessible right now.
We have to allow to talk with video.
Yes, or maybe they are in the meet. Maybe they are in the meet.
I don't know. Hugo or Lida try to.
Digamos, Jenny, de pronto ellos están en el enlace de Meet. Entonces
no,
sería...
No, ya logré.
Sí, oh, perfect,
Yes.
Perfect. Listo, great. Pensé que
I can give us access one by one.
Oh, this is adding everyone into the...
Yes, and we have some questions in Spanish. So I'm going to try to take a note and at the end, we can talk about it.
Okay, wonderful. Great. So, sorry for the interruption, and please, Ryan, you can continue now.
Yeah, no worries at all.
And I think they have access now.
Perfect. Alrighty. So again, feel free to throw anything into the Q&A section if you have any questions throughout this, or have any notes that you'd like to share. Next, I'd like to move on to this research outline feature. We'll see this in the demo after the presentation. But in the AI editor tool within AnswerThis, you can give it some pretty precise points about how you want your research outline to be made. You can also configure the sources of where you want the papers to come from, what journal of what quality of journal you need, as well as fill out a description as precise as you need it to be. This actually really helped me with my own research after I found the gap. I essentially gave it everything I knew about my field, and it went ahead and gave me a timeline on how I can complete my research, as well as a research outline of the field. And my research, if anyone's curious, is on AI. So it's a relatively new field. All the research papers I'm trying to get are from like 2022 and beyond. So it's very helpful for finding up-to-date papers there as well. Moving on to the literature review, John will give us a great demonstration later on this tool, more in depth. But traditionally, a literature review, you have to figure out the key methods, compile all your research papers together, and create very academic writing about your research topic. Now, in order to do this inside of AnswerThis, there's a few ways. One is that you can upload your papers that you've already found. So if you have a library of like 90 papers and you want it to make a draft for a literature review, you can do that in order to make the first initial draft. Now, of course, you can't just copy and paste everything and call that literature review done. You'll have to look at the citations, make sure the text line up, and you also want to put in your own academic writing tonality into it as well. Another way you can do it is if you want just a literature review to get a scope of your field, you can ask it a more broad question. It'll give you about 30 plus papers as well as a very good base literature review, showing you all about your research topic and field. And then the last thing that we can go a little bit into during the demo is once you've made your literature review, you can actually automatically put it into the AI editing tool. And from there, it's like Word document, except you have an AI helper with you in order to put down citations quickly and change tonality quickly as well. Moving on to data extraction is actually one of my favorite tools in AnswerThis. So as you can see, this little extract data button, you'll see this in your library. Here, you can extract data from all your research papers that are in there. So whether you want to extract research gaps, you want to extract a specific quantitative measure, or you want to extract maybe future works or what the research paper wishes to research further, you can extract that for all the papers and get it into a CSV. And then moving on a little bit, you heard me talk about this briefly, but the AI editing tool is essentially like Word doc, but you have your own AI in there with you. If any of you have used Cursor, think of it like that, but for your research papers. So if you want to maybe fix up some grammar, you want to quickly make sure everything makes sense, you can ask the AI. You can also prompt it to continue writing and to add extra sources. So just adding the extra amount of papers that are inside of your literature review or whatever you're making. You can also search papers directly from here. So our AI will go in, it'll take about 10 seconds, and we'll find the exact papers that you need in order to cite within your document. And there's so much more, and I'm super excited to dive into that a little bit later on as well. And yeah, in conclusion, research isn't something to be replaced by AI, but helped instead. When we made AnswerThis, we essentially made it in accordance to all the advice that we've been given by PhD students who've been struggling to find papers or compile papers for literature review. Essentially, everything you see in this tool is suggested by PhD students and made for PhD students. So, of course, if you have any feedback, we're always open to hear it. But yeah, throughout this process, we want to make sure we keep our academic integrity you will get caught if you just copy and paste things. So always use this as a tool to get more quality and quicker research, but not to replace you. And I just want to make sure that is extra emphasized. And yeah, thank you so much. This is the presentation segment of the webinar, and I'm happy to move on to the live demo.
Okay. Next, we are going to move to the live demo. We will show some of the features of this tool in the real world. So I will share with you my screen.
Perfect. And whilst we're doing that, I just want to make one quick note. We are about to dive into the demo session. So I just dropped the AnswerThis link into the chat. You'll be able to sign up to there for free. Once you're there, you'll be able to follow along exactly with what Jonas is about to show us.
Good. Bueno, entonces Ryan está compartiendo con nosotros el enlace para que ustedes puedan tener acceso gratuito a esta herramienta y probarla durante un mes. Y por favor recuerden también dejarnos su correo electrónico. Con eso, si alguien tiene algún problema, podemos enviarlo directamente desde nuestro contacto. Entonces, vamos a presentarles a continuación el uso de esta herramienta para la revisión de literatura, resúmenes, los mapas que hablamos anteriormente y demás. Entonces, let's move. And this is the website of AnswerThis. So the idea is that you must sign up here, and I will sign up into my account, and I will show you how to develop a quick literature review any topic. Okay, so that's the interface. As you can see in your screen, there is the interface of AnswerThis. You can write your prompt in this square. You can have in the left side, this bar, you can have the different tools like new queries, AI writer, your library. You can search papers, how to develop citation map, diagrams, and other tools like for paraphrasing, article review, and so on, paper review, and so on. So let me show you how to develop a literature review. You can find also here different types, like automatic literature review, quick questions and answers about any topics, and a full literature review. You can see the different sources like papers, internets, libraries. Even you can upload your own papers if you have done a literature review before access to AnswerThis. And there are the options Light and Pro and more filters. You can increase the number of citations in this bar, and you can find research papers, choose the main databases like Semantic Scholar, OpenAlex, PubMed, RXIV, and the internet filters. Those are the main features or filters. You can choose the date, the range of the date that you want to, where you want to find the papers, and also the quartiles. If you want to find a paper just in quartile 1, 2, 3, or 4, you can choose here. And here, there is another tool where you can create a prompt. There is a prompt helper. For example, let's select a tool. You can find relevant studies on, write a literature review, perform a quantitative analysis, suggest research questions, ask questions from PDBs, custom search, identify gaps, generate research outlines, research proposals, and research topics on are one of the features. We can write a literature review. We want to write a literature review on, let's say, on impacto, vamos a decir, una revisión de literatura sobre el impacto de la inteligencia artificial en el mercado laboral latinoamericano. ¿Okay? Y vamos a crear un prompt, write a literature review on impacto, ¿cierto? Podemos escribir ahí, digamos, en español o en inglés. Entonces voy a escribir en español. De la inteligencia artificial en el mercado laboral latinoamericano. Entonces recuerden que podemos utilizar la ingeniería de prompts y desarrollar prompts más específicos. Le pueden dar la extensión de la revisión de la literatura, el estilo de citación, etcétera, etcétera. It is important to underline that you can optimize the prompt and you can include, for example, the extension of the literature review, the citation, the kind of citation, and so on. So let's see what this tool can do with this very few-shot prompt. So it will start to search into the thousands of papers which are included in indexed journals around the world, which is a guarantee that you have a very good result. As Ryan mentioned before, it is important to use the result of the large models like AnswerThis as a draft. ¿Sí? Todo resultado que utilicemos de estos modelos de lenguaje extenso deben ser implementados como un borrador. La inteligencia artificial no es un ser humano, no es un autor, pero sí tiene, digamos, sus limitantes, ¿no? Puede generar alucinación, información, digamos, alucinada, y es responsabilidad del investigador leer de manera crítica, verificar, complementar, refinar e incluir su tono de voz en los resultados que obtengamos de estos modelos. Entonces,
Joan, ¿hay alguna forma de disminuir las alucinaciones o no tenemos injerencia en eso?
Digamos, AnswerThis nos ayuda a disminuir digamos, el resultado de AnswerThis se obtiene con un mínimo de alucinación que los que podemos encontrar hoy en día en bases de, en chatbots como ChatGPT, Google AI Studio, incluso agentes como Manus, entre otros. Entonces, esa es, digamos, una de las características o the positive features that this tool offers to us. So let's see the result. And this is important also to underline in the ethical use of this kind of tools. We must to have a critical reading, a critical assessment. We must to include our own voice. We must to complement and verify the information that is obtained by these kind of long language models. So now the model is working.
And also just make a quick note, of course, Stone showed us there's 3 different outputs types that we can make. One's the full literature review, one's the auto mode, and one's the Q&A. Literature review will take the longest, sort of all 3. As you can see, it's taking a minute or 2. That's because we use a much more advanced system in order to find more papers, make sure all the papers are accurate, to make the literature review. But if you have questions like, oh, how do I find a research gap in this field quickly, or other like just basic research questions, you can use the Q&A version in order to get the result in much quicker.
That's good. Esa parte es súper especial porque ustedes pueden preguntar directamente, ¿cierto?, a los modelos, por ejemplo, que haga una lista de ideas de los 7 vacíos en la investigación, por ejemplo, en economía conductual a nivel mundial, en Colombia, etcétera, etcétera. Entonces, utilizando esas características que ofrece la herramienta, pues también, además de hacer las revisiones de literatura, pueden desarrollar esto.
¿Y eso lo preguntas en ese mismo lugar?
En ese mismo chat. Exactamente, quería decir.
Ok. Entonces le puedes preguntar, dame una revisión de la literatura de este y este tema. Y al mismo
Ex-
tiempo, pues en otro, dame el vacío de la literatura. ¿Sí?
Yeah, yes, exactamente. Entonces, como ustedes pueden ver, aquí ya tenemos una revisión de literatura. As you can see, there is a review in Spanish because I asked it in Spanish. So this is very good because you can use papers from different languages and they can be summarized in a very optimized. This is a very good draft any kind of project or art state. There is the main objectives and scope of the review, the importance of analysis for the policymakers and private sector, and the other sections of the literature review. This is the this tool. So it just takes like 3 minutes to write a first draft of a very wonderful literature review that it will be help to increase your productivity and your research. Here you can find the sources used to write the literature review. So your responsibility, you are responsible as a researcher to verify all of these sources. This is the most important thing. And there are another few features. You can see the information in a table, yes, and you can compare all the sources, the relevant extracts, the methods, the findings, and so on. You can sort by date, by citation, you can export the information, and that's all. So I can move. I want to move with Ryan with the next part of this webinar using the tool on live.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is great. Let me just share my screen as well real quick. So everything that you just seen there, you can access for free. And there's also a lot more that you can access on AnswerThis for free as well. Let me just hop over to my AnswerThis tab. So I'm going to go through some of the other features that AnswerThis has to offer. So firstly, one very key thing that you'll want to build, just in research in general, is a library. So here's what the AnswerThis library looks like. It's very similar to that literature review citations on the right-hand side. So we can change this to table view. And from here, we can scroll down through our library, see all our sources. We can import sources from other libraries like Zotero, EndNote, Mendeley by downloading the bib or .ris files and uploading them here. You can also go ahead and manually upload one by one by pressing this button here. And then finally, from here, one of my favorite things to do is to use this extract data tool. So let's see, if I scroll to the bottom, my library has 530 papers, so this might take a while if I add this through, but you'll see research gaps will be added to this table. And once we've built this table out, once we've extracted all the data we need to, we can also put in any custom prompt into here that we need to. But once we have extracted all the data that we need, we can export it to CSV, or we can export it back into BibTeX and have all of that information back into our Zotero libraries. One thing to keep an eye out for in the future is that AnswerThis will indeed have a Zotero option here, so you can just import directly from Zotero, but this is something that we're working on at the minute. And then over on the left-hand side here, we see projects. So for any project, we can, or for any research project, we can make a unique library for it. So say we have a project on, let's do atomic structures. We can select this to be I guess we can go chemistry, and boom, just like that, we'll have a whole new library. One additional thing you can do is you can share your libraries as well. So if you want to share this with a peer, you can go ahead, you can select team members from, oh, sorry. You can invite people directly from here, from your research teams, or you can just type in their email address and they will be invited to this library. And yeah, the last thing I want to quickly show as well is if you select all your sources, I'm just going to select about 10 here because I have far too many sources to do more than that. So I'll put in 10. If you select bibliometric analysis, you can actually see when all the papers from your library were published, when they were cited, and you can see all this other information as well, which can help you as you go about your research. Moving on, here's the search papers tool. If you go to search filters, you'll get a very similar section as if you were to choose more filters. In fact, the exact same section. You can adjust the minimum citations that each paper that AnswerThis pulls out has. So if you want to only have papers that have a minimum of 10 citations in it, then you can do that. For now, I'm just going to set this to 0. And of course, you can change your databases and do everything you need to do here as well. So I'm just going to say the makeup of neutron. I'll just throw that in here. We can click search. And you'll notice right away here is a bit quicker than the literature review tool. And I'll give you the exact papers that you need as well. So you can go through here. You can save ones to your library if you'd like. If any of these papers have this PDF available beside it, we can actually click on it and select chat. And just give it a few seconds here. So this paper in particular didn't have a compatible PDF, but if we go back here, maybe we'll just go to our library. We say, we'll go cell survival rate, and we can scroll to the top here. We can select chat was selected. You can also upload a paper that you'd like to chat with immediately from the new query section and chat with it. But as you can see, we have our paper on the left-hand side. We have a table here, and if we scroll down, we can also see other information. But one thing I love to use chat with papers for is to make tables. And as you can see, we have a table here about RBE beam and CBE of cells when they're rated. So I don't know what any of this means, but let's answer this to make a table about these cells and all the relevant numerical information that is needed. I told it to make a table, right? Okay, perfect. So I'll then copy and paste this. And this will take a few seconds, but I'll go ahead and make a table. And yeah, whilst that's loading, I'll also show you a few of the other tools that you can use within this screen. So one thing you'll see is this explain text at the bottom. As you can see, I struggled to understand what this meant. And say you're new to the field and you're reading these papers and some weird words come up and you don't know what they mean. You can simply just highlight it and then you can go ahead, you can press explain text and it'll send a prompt over here as well. Another thing that you can do is it's not limited to one paper. So if I wanted to select maybe 3, 4, or as many papers as I wanted from my library, I can actually go ahead, select each individual one, make sure that PDF is available on each one that I'm selecting, and then chat with all the PDFs at once. If you do this, you can make some powerful tables. You can also make a literature review by asking it to make a literature review with the papers that you have into this chat with PDF section. And yeah, sometimes it does take a little bit longer just because it's using a similar model that is used in the literature review tool. This way we found it doesn't hallucinate as much as other tools. In fact, when it makes the table, I guarantee that each figure will be extremely precise and spot on. I myself haven't encountered it to mess up on figures or mess up on key details. The only real bit that might hallucinate on is actually grabbing the piece of detail, but that's only if there's a lot going on. So we can, oh, looks like it's about to load. So it's gone ahead, as you can see, it's given us the literature review. If we select this, let's see. So if you select one of the citations, as you can see, I just selected this one here. It goes ahead and it highlights the exact text that it pulls the information from. So if you see something very specific and you're like, I don't know where I read that in a research paper, you can go ahead, select citation, and all of the text will be highlighted. Now, if we scroll through to the bottom, let's see this table. So if we expand this, it might look a little bit neater. So we have the cell type, we have all this data here, but we don't really know what it means. And the only thing we actually care about is to see if this is accurate. So let's find the table that was made here. Let's scroll to the bottom. And as you can see, it's marked up these two cell types that are mentioned here. And if you go through figure for figure, you'll see that it got each one spot on. And then it went ahead and it also grabbed information from this table below and also added it to this table. So if you have lots of papers that are discussing similar things and have lots of quantitative data, I highly recommend to use this table feature. And just as I'm being aware of time here, I'll quickly fly through the other ones. So if we were to make a query, get an answer like this. So this is actually what my research is. I'm doing research on how different cultures perceive AI. If we scroll to the very bottom here, we see this edit with AI option. If we select this, it'll go right into this little table here. So from here, I can do a few things. One is I can, add any papers from search papers if I want to find additional material. I can also go to the library. Maybe I want to change the style of citation, so I can change it like this. And if I want to add any different citations, I can go ahead. I can add it from my library here. And of course, from here, it works similarly like a doc. So I can go in, I can edit any of the text I need to. I can also go ahead, I can bold some text, I can unbold text, make the headings bigger, and essentially do whatever I need to in terms of what you would do on a Word doc. But the extra features that come along with it is this little AI editing section. So if I highlight a piece of text, I can reword it, I can summarize it, I can generate questions from this highlighted piece of text, or I can go ahead and put in a custom prompt and also tell it what papers I wanted to include whilst it's writing, and go ahead and configure the research settings for what I wanted to include. You can also tell it to continue writing. So it tells you the context that it has, and you can customize the instructions of what you want the AI to do, as well as add in some additional sources here too. And as we discussed in the presentation, there's this little generate research outline option. I highly recommend adding this at the end or at the start of your literature review that you may have made, because it might make things messy if you put it in the middle. But you can go ahead, you can give it all the description you need. You can add the number of headings or subheadings that you need, as well as the filters. Moving on next to citation maps. Here, all we need to do is enter the DOI, or the paper title, of a source that we have. From here, we'll see a citation map like this, and we can add the number of papers that it has by, oh, my bad. You can add the number of papers by, just increasing this button here, and we'll see extra papers start to add in. We can also reduce it and change some of the colors and anything we need to do there. On the right hand side, you'll see in the origin section, the origin paper that I have. So that's this one here. That's where the citation map is made from. And you can also see the most cited papers. So this one has 75,879 citations. So it's most likely one of those base papers. That'd be very important to have. And if we go to the bottom here, we can also see top contributing authors and most connected papers as well, which is super important when you're trying to build your portfolio of sources for your research. And the last thing I want to know is, if you click on any of these, or you go into the metrics and see something that you like, you can also set it as origin, and it will be added to where all these papers are coming from. And there we go. Next, we've got this diagram maker. This is actually still in beta at the minute, but we can make anything that we need to from here. So we can say, make a complex Python diagram, or I guess we can go with flowchart. We can select any of these. I did specify flowchart just because I had it automatically selected here, but you can make mind maps, you can make pie charts, user journeys, or anything you really need to here. And you can go ahead, press generate. And within a few seconds, we should see a full flowchart on the right hand side. Again, if anyone has any questions, feel free to put it in the Q&A chat.
Okay, thank you very much, dear Ryan, for this insightful presentation. Bueno, a continuación vamos a pasar a la sección de preguntas y respuestas. Los invitamos a que escriban sus preguntas en el chat de questions and answers, de preguntas y respuestas, para pasar a contestarlas. Entonces, la invitación es a que se inscriban, creen su usuario en AnswerThis y exploren estas posibilidades que tienen para crear revisiones de literaturas, resúmenes, vacíos de investigación y demás aspectos que nos mostraron, como los mapas de citaciones, diagramas y todas estas características para organizar información y mejorar la productividad de sus investigaciones. So, now we are continue with the section of questions and answers. There are some questions in the chat. The first one is, what is the authenticity percentage of citations and references, as other AI writers give an authentic references or hallucinations, and we have to verify one by one? This is a question by Robab.
That's a really good question. And to answer that, no AI is going to be 100% hallucination foolproof at the minute. So our AI isn't completely perfect, and until technology advances, it won't be. However, in terms of accuracy and actually bringing in the references and papers you need, AnswerThis, we use a proprietary technology in our backend to find the exact papers that you need first, and then build your literature review around that portfolio of papers that we find. This way, our citations are 99.9% accurate, and the papers that you receive are as close as I can get to what you need as far as technology goes. So it will give you really accurate answers and line by line citations. So you know that the sort or the writing that you're getting is coming directly from that source, and you can go in, you can copy the text, you can verify it right away. But as far as the model goes, the papers themselves are going to be very precise. Of course, you should still check them one by one, but it's not going to be absolutely perfect at the end of the day.
Thank you, Ryan. There is another question. Becky Temba asked, he said or she, such an interesting AI tool. Thank you so much for this. Can I ask if it is free or needs some subscription?
Yeah, it's a great question. So everything that you've shown is completely free, and a lot of what I've shown, bar the AI editor, I believe the citation map diagram are currently behind paywall, but everything else is completely free. Go ahead and sign up through the link that I just put into the Q&A chat. From here, you can do exactly as we show now in the webinar bar, some of the tools, and you'll get 10 free credits as well. So more than enough to get your first few drafts of the literature review.
Okay, that's good. Pues para los hablantes en español, la herramienta tiene un costo, sí, como ChatGPT, más o menos en promedio, pero para los, digamos, usuarios de la universidad, de la Fundación Universitaria del Área Andina, vamos a tener un acceso gratis de un mes por este webinar para que ustedes lo prueben y le saquen el máximo provecho, pero también un descuento, ¿sí? Ellos plantean darnos unos descuentos de 50% o más, dependiendo del regateo. Entonces, vamos a ver. So, let's continue with another questions. There is another question. There is a limit of queries. That it means by time or quantity of material or papers for consulting. Is there a limit?
Yeah, so for the free tool, currently it's 10 credits. So you'll get 10 searches. You can save papers still. You can upload papers as well. So you'll still be able to upload papers, use them for search. But yeah, you get 10 credits to play with.
Ok, entonces tienen 10 créditos al mes, pero ustedes recuerden que también pueden cargar sus papers. Okay, you have another questions. If you have another questions, please feel free. So if not, I would like to invite you to open your webcams in order to take a picture and a final picture in order to close this webinar. And last but not the least, I would like to thank you to Ayus, to Ryan, to the representatives of our university for allowing us the creation of this space. So please, if you want to open your webcams in order to take a picture, it will be wonderful. And our friends, Jenny and colleagues, they will try to take a picture. Let me try me by myself. Okay. Okay. So again, thank you very much for your attendance, and that's was all by my side. I hope to see you in the near future. And now I want to give the floor to Ryan to give the last words in order to close this webinar.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And it's been an absolute honor working with you. And yeah, it's been amazing doing this webinar. I'll be in touch with everyone afterwards, and I'll definitely want to keep in touch with you guys, because it has been fantastic building this webinar and doing this today. So yeah, more than happy to answer any questions if anyone ever has any. I'll actually leave my email in the chat there. But feel free to send any questions, or if you want to follow up on anything, I'd be more than happy to respond. And yeah, thank you so much again for hosting such a great event. And yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Ryan. It was a really pleasure to have you here today. Muchas gracias a todos y esperamos verlos en otra oportunidad.
Alrighty, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye, everyone. Have a nice time.